And that's how my modeling career started as well. They told me I was too short, too muscular, too dark. Like my story is a story of no. So no has become such a non-factor to me. If I get a no, I'm talking to the wrong person. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Cause no doesn't deter me anymore. No is just a no for now. It's not a no forever.
Get your water and keep some wine. I should have had some wine.
With exposure, execution, and consistency, there is nothing you can't do. Just keep planting.
Before we get into today's podcast episode, make sure you go to the responsiblehomegirl.com and download the free money management guide that I have created for you. Most of the time when people are starting their personal finance journey, they know that they want to do better with their money, but don't know exactly where to start. The money management guide is a great way for you to look at what you have going on right now and to take steps so you can get better. Like, I don't want you to get overwhelmed, like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. No, I want you to have a seat, literally sit down, assess what you have going on, and the free money management guide that I created for you will do just that. So make sure you go to the responsiblehomegirl.com or just click the description, or just click the link in the description box below and go get that. You'll also be on my email list where I'll send out different tips, gems, personal finance stuff, business stuff, all of the Responsible Homegirl things. So make sure you click that link, download that free money management guide, and get your personal finance journey started because, baby, inflation, I'm feeling it. Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning back into another episode on the Responsible Homegirl Podcast. I am Kiani, the Responsible Homegirl, and this is a space that I have created so young adults can become financially responsible and wealth conscious. So the way that I do that is by 1, sharing financial education, and then 2, interviewing amazing entrepreneurs who are building their wealth from the ground up. So if you've been rocking with me for a little minute, you know that I have a series called Think Like a Mogul, where I interview entrepreneurs who are either from South Carolina or live in South Carolina, because I want to expose the greatness that we have in our own backyard. So today we have no other than Miss Taylor. Y'all, let's get into these curls. The curls are popping, honey. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Hey y'all, thank you so much for having me. You know, I've been following you for so long. I've been supporting your journey, and I'm so glad you thought a little on me.
Girl, you know I had to get you on the podcast. So y'all, today we're gonna just, have a regular conversation with Taylor, just like I do with my other guests. And we're gonna dig deep into, of course, how she grew up, her mindset, how she thinks like a mogul, and how she is really turning her vision, her everything that she has in her mind to like a reality. So stay tuned, stay locked in with us. If you don't have your pen and your pad, go get it right now because we're gonna get all into it. So Taylor, I always start off the podcast with asking my guests to give me an irresponsible financial decision that they've ever made.
Okay. Okay. All right. So for those who know me, the OGs who know me, the party people who know me, they know I love to travel. I got the opportunity to kind of experience traveling for the very first time living in Greece. I got to study abroad in my junior year of college. And ever since then, my travel bug has just ignited. And so there was one trip that I took right before my senior year of college. And it was a trip to the Grand Cayman Island. And what I didn't know was it is one of the most expensive islands in the world.
Oh wow.
Didn't know that till I got there. And and I went with my best friend and we, had our room at this resort. The resort was really nice and everything was just chef's kiss, right? But my bank account wasn't matching what my reality was. And I know a lot of people, you probably seen it like on TikTok and everything, where people just like, baby, there's no budget for vacation. We figured out when we get back. That was me. Listen, I was looking at the menu like, okay, yeah, can I have a kids meal, please?
I'm dead.
It was that bad. And it was so funny because when me and my best friend got back, we never discussed like, could we even afford that trip? So I think it was like a month or two after. And I think I had brought it up like in, joking. And she was like, girl, I did not have money to go on that trip either. And we were just so dead at the fact that we both did not have money to go on this trip. We were so hell bent on going on this trip. And then we didn't know that it was one of the most expensive islands to go to until we got there. So do your research on where you're visiting. Also, have a budget and have the finances before you actually go. And don't try to flex on people just because. That didn't help me. It didn't help my bank account, and the pictures aren't even on my page anymore. So it's just
like what was the point?
Exactly. So definitely, I'm all for experiences, but I'm also all for being financially stable and also financially literate. So that was probably one of the dumbest decisions I have made thus far. And I still have money when I came back, but it was like I was eating oodles and noodles for like a month straight. Like I had to work and like couldn't go anywhere else.
I think
go ahead.
I think it's so funny how as friends we don't really talk about our money, and then when we do talk about it, it's like jokingly, but we're going through the same thing.
And it's so funny because that go back to my best, like that is, I think, one thing that now we're so vulnerable with each other. We have gone through a lot together. And I always say she's the healthiest relationship I ever had. Or have, because the level of vulnerability that we have now, like I can literally give her my bank account information, right? Like I trust her with my life, and there's nothing that I hide from her. Not to say that we don't have boundaries with one another, but now we're in a phase of our life and our relationship to where it's just like there's nothing you could do or say to make me not love you or make me feel less than about you. So we might as well go through this together. You know what I mean? So that was huge for us. That was kind of like a breakthrough moment for us too, because we come from financial backgrounds where there isn't much knowledge or information about it. So we made a decision from that point on. We will hold each other accountable financially, and grow together and build financial wealth together. And that's what we've done. And I'm excited about our future together. But more importantly, that we getting this money and we keeping it and we budget it and all that good stuff.
I love that so much, and we need more relationships like that. So, and it just brings another level of accountability. Like, sis, we want to go on this trip, but can you really afford this trip? Like, let's just be real about the situation. So, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So now, Taylor, can you tell my people who have probably been living up under a rock who you are, what you do, and what kind of led into your creative journey, your entrepreneur journey? I know that's a loaded question, so take your time.
Okay, so who am I? My name is Taylor Tramsue, but I go by T Tramsue on all my social media platforms. I am a professional model and now digital content creator. This is my very first year of doing this full time. I graduated in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic from college. I am South Carolina born and raised. I was born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina, but I moved to Charleston in technically 2018, 2019 when I transferred to CFC to finish out my college career. And I have been here ever since. So I am a country girl at heart. My family is from the 843 and the 803. So shout out everybody. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Okay, so creative, I feel like I always say I'm really not that much of a creative person, and then you look at my life and it's like, girl, hush. But I started my journey online in 2016. So I started with YouTube. So YouTube was my baby for so long. I actually started out as an advice column anonymous advice column for my peers, because a lot of people would come to me asking for advice. And, kind of through my life experiences, I felt like I had more wisdom than the average 16, 15-year-old. Also, peep the gray hair. Yes, your girl is old soul. But I felt that kind of needed to happen. And so I created this YouTube channel where people could send in questions anonymously, and I would give them answers to the best of my ability. And it kind of hit off from there. And then I was in my senior year of high school, and then my senior prom came. And I just kind of vlogged that journey of like the countdown and then my actual prom day. And then that video went viral. because people were able to see my family and all their crazy shenanigans, and they got to see more of my personality, and they were like, "We're in love." So that's when I started vlogging full time on YouTube, and then my channel just kind of grew from there. I started vlogging my college journey and all that good stuff, and my transfer and going overseas and all that good stuff. And then I stopped. I stopped and I was like, girl, this isn't working out. Like, you need to get real. You need to get a real job, like everybody's been telling you to do. And in 2020, March of 2020, I entered into corporate America. I was working for an investment firm or hedge fund for one of the billionaires here in South Carolina. And I hated it. I knew that I was not walking in my purpose, and every day that I woke up, I got more and more depressed.
Wow.
And it got to a point where racism and discrimination started to become just unbearable, to the point where I was crying on my way to work. I was crying on my way home from work. I was crying in the bathroom. I was crying literally every single part of the day. And by September 15th, it had got to a point to where I was basically getting backed into a corner. Like, I felt like I really didn't have a choice. And I had a meeting with my manager. She called like this emergency meeting with me, and was basically just telling me I wasn't being a team player because I wasn't taking the discrimination and racism the way I guess I was supposed to. And I told her this will be my last day. You don't have to worry about me ever coming back because I don't feel safe here. And I walked out of there, tears in my eyes, my head held high, but I walked out of there with my spirit literally crushed. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea what my next step was. And I am definitely a type A person. I have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and some cliff notes about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, that's just how I am. I'm a very anal person when it comes to planning my life and always having a plan. And I walked out of the door with no plan. And just a month prior to quitting, September 15th, I quit September 15th of 2021. And just a month prior to quitting, I told myself that I was going to take my Instagram seriously. So in August of 2021, I had about 4,000 followers. By September 15th, the day after I quit, I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. And I was like, okay, God, I feel like this is a sign. This might, what you trying to tell me, God? What you trying to tell me?
Y'all, the Patreon is on and popping. Check out this clip from last week, Tuesday Night Link Up, where we discuss our book club, brand building, personal finances, and all of the things. I promise you, if you are looking for a like-minded community of women who are working towards financial freedom and seriously in their execution bag, the Patreon is the place to be. So check out this clip, and then we're going to get right back into the podcast episode.
But like, I have not gotten a lot of sales. Right. Now, like, giving crickets, no sales. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, what am I doing wrong?
When you think about a mission, I want you to think about why your brand exists. So an example of a mission is the Responsible Homegirl helps young women become financially responsible and wealth conscious. So basically, your mission is, I help X by doing Y. Why am I selling this stuff? Why am I even in business in the first place? Really got to be deeper than the money to keep you going. The whole first year of the Responsible Homegirl, I made no money, and I was still creating content.
And so I kind of took that and ran with it. But first, and I want this to be known, I took a mental health break for myself. So I did not go look for another job. I did not go full speed, and I continued to post consistently on Instagram to build my platform. But for that next entire month, I was in therapy every single week. I went on a vacation for my birthday. And I just had to literally reset mentally, because even the day after I quit, I woke up crying because my nervous system had become accustomed to being in fear of going to work every day. So for the first week, I just cried. I cried because my body didn't know what my brain knew, that we were done with that place.
Right.
And then the reality hit of like, okay, sis, they giving you this last little $2,000 something check. And then you got to figure it out.
Exactly.
You, baby, you got to figure this out. And thank God I was financially responsible and I had saved up $10,000 already because I knew that.
That's a big deal. That is a huge deal.
And again, I was only there for 6 months. So I had an exit plan. I did have an exit plan, but I didn't want to leave for another year or two because I want to have a substantial amount of money saved because being in the creative industry, you have no idea when your next check is coming. I wish more people realize that as well. Like, we just be out here letting God
be God.
Yeah, because we don't know. We really don't know. So I gave myself a month off and I told my family, because I didn't even tell my family I quit. Like, I just told my mom and my dad, and then that was it. Nobody else knew what I was going through. Like, I didn't even tell my best friend. Like, nobody knew. I just literally had to, and my therapist, like, I just had to mentally reset because I was not well. Like, I did not want to be here on earth anymore. Like, I just did not want to wake up. And I had to be honest about that and get help.
Mm-hmm.
And so my therapist was like, we are going to be meeting as many times as we need to until I know that you're okay, because I've never seen you like this and this is not okay. And the experiences that I was going through at this corporate job were very traumatic. Mm-hmm. And while I didn't feel that way, my body did. Like, I mentally had to recover as if I went through a traumatic situation. It was that bad. So yeah, I got through that, took a month off, and then November hit and I went full throttle. I started pitching to brands. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
All I knew is I knew that I was supposed to be doing this. I didn't know how. I didn't know why. Like, I just knew that I was supposed to be doing this. And so I went full throttle. I mean, just blind, I dived right in. Yeah. I started DMing at least 50 brands a day. And don't do this because Instagram will halt your account from DMing anybody. So, like, maybe do 10 a day. But I was DMing like 50 brands a day, letting them know, like, hey, I really love you. Like, I already use your products. I hear some analytics. Who's your point of contact, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing this every single day. Like, by December, I had already reached out to almost 200 brands.
Talk about this ethic.
Mind you, have not landed a brand deal yet. Oof. Because what people don't realize, I was a full-time model. I was not a content creator. Mm-hmm. So I only know the model world and the model language. Yeah. So this is still a very new world to me, and there's very little overlap between the two. Because when I'm hired as a model, I show up, everything is already done for me. There's a photographer, there's a videographer, there's a makeup artist. I just show up and I kill it. That's my job. As a content creator, it's a completely different concept. I am the photographer. I am the stylist. I am the makeup artist.
Everything.
I am the production assistant. I am my manager. I am, like, there's so much that goes into it. And so there is and still has been a huge learning curve for me because I went from being just one little piece in the puzzle to being the maker of the puzzle. Like, it was a completely different shift. And so there was so much learning going on in that time period. And then I finally landed my first brand deal. And and mind you, I didn't know how to price myself. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I landed my first brand deal with the skincare company, and it was like for $800. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it.
I'll take it.
And I think they initially offered like $300 or something. So I felt good about negotiating. And I was like, girl, yes. But in the meantime, people don't realize, like, I'm getting told no about all these 170 brands. Mm-hmm. And that's how my modeling career started as well. They told me I was too short, too muscular, too dark. Like, my story is a story of no. So no has become such a non-factor to me. If I get a no, I'm talking to the wrong person. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Because no doesn't deter me anymore. No is just a no for now. It's not a no forever.
Sis, I gotta pause you because you already gave us a lot that I need to unpack for the people. Because I don't want none of what they're saying to go over your head. So let's take a step back. For one, I want to just commend your boldness and your courage for saying, like, okay, I'm not putting up with this, and these are things that I am not going to deal with. And because of you advocating for yourself, that is definitely probably one of the reasons why you had a conversation with your manager that ended up with you leaving. And I just want everybody listening right now to know that in life, you will have to make sacrifices, but you don't have to take mistreatment. You do not have to take just things that don't serve you, that put your mental health in such a poor place. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is, honey, the work ethic. The work ethic. You took your time, you took your mental break, and you say, okay, you know what? I'm going all in. And I feel like sometimes when we get to a place where we're defeated, it's kind of hard to pull ourselves back up. But like you said, your life has been a series of hearing no, 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 no. So can you talk to my people about how did you stay motivated? How did you stay consistent to reach out to these brands every single day and not hear nothing back, but then boom, all it takes is one yes.
So first, I do want to say, being in this industry, no is normal. No is normal, but also you can't take it personal, and that's something I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Because as a Black creative, we are already at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that, and I hate that that's even a fact, but we are already at a disadvantage, right? And although I've been told no in the modeling industry, it's different when you feel like they're telling you as a person, and the best way I can describe it is they're denying you, like all of you, because you put so much into your content. You feel like your content is you, but via therapy, I've learned that I'm not my content. It's a part of who I am, but it's not all of me, because you don't even get 90% of me in my content. I'm just giving you bits and pieces.
Right.
So one, separate yourself from what you're doing, because it's not who you are.
Ooh.
So that's one. And two, I just have this deep knowing. I can't even explain it. Like, I just know I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
I know I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I tell myself this every day, because even yesterday I got discouraged. And being discouraged is okay, because it's just a feeling, and feelings are fleeting.
Right.
They don't last. They always pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always continue to tell myself, like, even if I don't make another dollar doing this, if I don't gain another follower, and if only one person hears my message for the rest of my life, am I okay with that? And the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
And that's why being told no will never deter me, because it's just like, okay, you say no, but I say yes.
Mm-hmm.
You say no, but God says yes. And his yes is bigger than any no that anybody could tell me. So I keep going, and I keep saying yes every day.
Right. I'm so happy that you brought up the piece about identity, because I feel like as creatives and even entrepreneurs, we can get our identity wrapped up in what it is that we do. And I will never forget, girl. One time I was listening to a podcast, and the man said, he was like, we are not what we do. We get to create as a byproduct of understanding who we are. So I was like, hold up, let me rewind that back. We get to create as a byproduct of understanding who we are.
Yeah.
But what does that tell me? That in order to really do all of the things that we want to do, be all who God has created us to be, we need to understand who He created us to be. And the only way that we can understand that is by one, spending time with ourselves and spending time with Him. So thank you for bringing that up. And can you talk to my people a little bit about just the mental journey, and I would say the spiritual journey that it takes, or that you kind of went through or are going through right now with building up your creative and entrepreneur journey?
And I do want to say this, because a lot of people think I just jumped into this entrepreneur journey. I had a whole skincare business before I even started as before I even started as a content creator. Mm-hmm. So before I started as a professional model, I created a skincare company. And then God told me to shut my skincare company down so I could pursue modeling full time.
Ooh.
So imagine God telling you and giving you a vision for something, and then telling you that you got to stop it to pursue something else.
Yeah.
And my skincare business was my baby, and it was booming. I was making money. I was happy.
Yeah.
So I want to preface that, because it's just like, I was okay with where I was. I was okay with what I was doing. Like, I was good. You know what I mean? And so I think my yes is really that's it. It's just my yes to God. And I'm not a person that says yes off rip. And I want to be very transparent. Like, I tell God, hold on, all the time, because it's just like, but I thought we had just agreed on.
Right.
I'm very real with God. I'm very me and God, we cousins. We like this.
Yeah.
So I talk to him as I would talk to a friend, as I would talk to one of my girlfriends. Just like, even though he's my heavenly father, I get that. But at the same time, we might have a little beef right now because
it's relationship.
Like, yeah. And so for me, this journey has just been about believing in me, which then helps me to believe in him more.
Yeah.
Because for the longest, and I think this is a testament to my social media journey as well. For the longest, I just didn't believe that I could do this. Like, I've always had the vision of wanting to be a content creator. I just didn't think I had nothing important to say or people would even listen to me. So I was just like, I would give like 50%, and then I would take 2 months off, and I would come back and give like 70, and then I would take 5 months off. So when I told myself, and I told God, like, if I give this 100% and I fail and nothing comes of it, then I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'll figure out what my purpose is. Like, I'll continue to unravel that.
Right.
And in 30 days, literally, and ever since then, I've been growing. And I think that, and like I said before, I just think that the more that I believe in myself makes me believe in God more. And I'm a very skeptical person. Like, I'm not afraid to say that. I'm very skeptical of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I question God all the time. But also that's how I learn. I learn off of my curiosity.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and even now, I feel like I'm in a season, and I was having a conversation yesterday. I know that I'm going to make an impact on this world. I know that I have already made an impact on this world. But my question right now is, God, when? When is it going to be my turn?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like it's my turn right now. So God, when?
Yeah. One thing that we talked about before we started this episode, I was telling you, like, how I just love that your platform is more than cute outfits and a pretty face. And you talk so much about your journey, being transparent, and encouraging people to show up and find their purpose and do what it is that God has called them to do. So my question to you is, in your journey, with things not necessarily working out, like you said earlier, you don't know when you're going to get your next check, all of this stuff, you said earlier that you just had this deep knowing. Can you speak to the girl who is listening right now, who may not be as confident, who may be dealing with some self-doubt? Can you give her something that she can kind of leech on, hold on to, so she can get rid of that and be all who God has created her to be?
So this is a example I use all the time. And I am somebody who wears glasses. So if God gave me this vision specifically for me, that requires a very specific prescription.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this vision, this prescription. It works perfectly for me. I see clear. Once I get this prescription, I see 20/20, right?
Right.
But you're like, hey, my vision has been a little off. Let me borrow your glasses. I give you my glasses. We might have the same prescription, but the vision won't be the same because it was never meant for you.
Right.
Right? So it's like, and I use that analogy because a lot of people doubt themselves because you're waiting for somebody to receive your vision. It's never going to happen. God didn't give anybody else the vision because it's yours and yours alone. And a lot of people are afraid to go on this journey alone. And you cannot be afraid to be alone on the journey because you won't be alone forever.
Yeah.
You won't be alone forever. And you don't need everybody to get the vision. You have to just start moving towards what God is telling you to do.
Yeah. Budgeting is not about restricting yourself. Budgeting is about planning. The reason why you haven't been sticking to your budget is because you are putting these hardcore constraints on you and it's just not working. Do not make budgeting something that you regret, something that's going to be your prison. No, budgeting is all about planning. And this is exactly what I talk about in my lifestyle budgeting ebook. I am so passionate about teaching people how to budget because it is literally the foundation of financial freedom. I know you are probably watching this podcast episode because of the cute title, or because you're inspired by this business owner, or you need to learn more about personal finances, where I'm here to tell you, once you get your budgeting down pat, everything else flows from it. So click the link below and download the Lifestyle Budgeting ebook. Now, this is the 2022 edition, so I went back, added some more stuff to help us fight inflation, fight this future recession, and all of the things that can possibly come our way when it comes to personal finances. So like I said before, budgeting is not about restricting yourself, it is about planning. Get my full process, my full guide to how I manage my money without stress. Click the link below and download your 2022 edition of the Lifestyle Budgeting ebook. And I got something special for y'all. For all of you who are listening right now on the podcast, use the discount code PODCAST, PODCAST, for 10% off of your order. So use the discount code PODCAST for 10% off your order, and let's get right back into the episode.
I just want to say, with every step, like, there has been so much confusion in every step, and yet I still move. Like, you move confused, move without all the clarity. Just move. Do the thing that God tells you to do, even if it's, okay, well, I feel like God telling me to post a video today. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know. But I just keep moving towards whatever God is telling you to do. And soon you'll look up and be like, oh, wow, like, I'm a lot further than what I thought I would be, and from where I used to be. So, like, my biggest thing, just keep moving. Don't allow other people's opinions or judgments on your specific journey to deter you from what you're supposed to be doing. Because if I would listen to family members, friends, colleagues, peers, teachers, advisors, I would be miserable doing something, not making anywhere near what I could be making.
Right.
Because of what the fear that they projected onto me.
Right. One thing that really stood out to me, and it's something that God literally had to work with me through because I used to struggle with it so bad, was seeking other people's validation. And that goes hand in hand with doubting yourself and waiting for other people to kind of come along and hatch onto your vision. Like, I literally have a sticky note on my computer right now. It's right here. And it says, I am qualified. I am my own validation. And I want everybody listening to really understand that. Like, I used to be, and I'm being very transparent because I know other people can relate to this. I used to be the girl who lived for the praise of other people, the applause, the claps for other people. So when I didn't get that praise, when I didn't get those claps, that did something to me. So I'm like, okay, God, please work with me on this, because I don't need to be this impacted when my content doesn't perform the way that I think it should perform. Or when I reach out to a brand and I see that they read it, but they did not reply to me. Like, what's going on? What's going on? So I need everybody listening to really take what me and Taylor is saying as, like, you don't need other people's vision. People tell you no, tell yourself yes. Every time you show up consistently, you are telling yourself yes. Period. So Taylor, I don't know if it was in 2020 or 2021 when you had your I don't know if it was a brand deal or if you were just modeling for Express.
Yes, my campaign.
Yes, so you were everywhere, and I was here for it. I probably still have the screenshot in my phone because when it came across as an ad, I was like, I know her. So can you talk to me about how that came up and how was just that experience as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. So that actually came about via my Instagram, and this is why I tell models or people who are just seeking out content creation, but specifically models, use your Instagram as your portfolio. People are watching. People are watching you. People are watching you. People are watching you. People are watching you. Even if they don't follow you, people and brands are watching you. And what people don't realize is brands like to see you grow. They like to see your evolution. And so while they may not say anything to you directly, these PR companies are keeping you on their back burner. Like, they are like, okay, in about a month, we're going to check back. So basically, their brand marketing team were looking for models in Charleston, South Carolina. And they were going through the hashtags, and they found me. And they could have chose a lot of different models, but I believe I'm qualified, and I believe that campaign was for me.
Period.
And so they reached out to me. I still don't have a modeling agency. I am my own representation. And they reached out to me via emails like, hey, we actually have a summer campaign coming out. We'd love for you to model, and we need you to basically be ready to shoot in like 3 or 4 days. Like, it was such a fast turnaround. And I was like, huh? Because I had been modeling by that time, I believe, only for like 6 or 8 months. Like, at that time, professionally, like I started modeling professionally March of 2020. Like, I'm still very new to the industry. And then at that point, I was still learning so much. I didn't know about usage rights. Like, I was just out here just showing up.
Right.
And so I, talked to their team, and I actually reached out to an influencer that I knew. Shout out to Megan Pinckney Rutherford. I reached out to her because I had worked for her. She had hired me to model for one of the campaigns, clothing campaigns that she had. And I knew that she was in this industry for longer than I was. I knew she didn't know about modeling, but I knew she knew about negotiating, and she had a manager. And thank God she was open and willing to help me. She got me in contact with her manager. Her manager basically helped me to rate myself with them. And it ended up being a 5-figure campaign for me. And that was like my first big like campaign ever.
Right.
And they flew a videographer in. It was so crazy because I didn't know anybody that was supposed to be a part of the shoot. Like, I got hired last minute, everybody got hired last minute, and it was such a fast turnaround. I ended up actually shooting with the photographer who was responsible for it literally like 4 weeks before. We had just met. So I was like, God worked it out perfectly. The production team that I usually work with, she was the production assistant. She was the producer for the entire shoot. So everybody I knew except for like one person, the videographer, and he was so cool. So I felt like I was around family the entire shoot. They hired a sprinter for me to change in and ride me around all day. Like, I had a makeup artist. It was just like a full on experience. And I just remember going the entire day. Like, I was in my bag that day. Like, I was really in my bag that day. And I just remember it was like a 10-hour day. And I just remember being so energized throughout the day. And it really ignited a fire in me where it's just like, this is my purpose. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I could do this for 50 hours, not eat, not drink, and be okay. Still be giggling, laughing, making everybody on set feel comfortable. Like, and I'm a person to where my prayer before every shoot is, God, use me, and God, whatever I'm here to do, whoever I'm here to uplift, allow me to do that. Like, I know I'm not ever showing up on a set just to model. It's always more than that. And so I feel like I was able to connect with people, uplift them, while still walking in my purpose and doing what I was supposed to do. End up being a 3-month campaign. I was in stores all across the nation. And that was a pivotal moment for me, because it made me realize that, one, I could really do this. Like, I could really, really do this. Because at that time I was only modeling for like small boutiques and like doing little deals with like gas stations, like Circle K. I had a brand deal with Circle K and like skincare companies. So like still making money, but it was not 5-figure campaigns.
Right.
And that and my corporate job, working in a hedge fund, seeing 6 figures come across my desk every day, 6-figure checks, seven-figure wire transfers, signing off on properties as a witness. Like, it exposed me that I can make this kind of money. Like, it's not just for a certain group of people. Like, I can do this too. And so that experience made me realize, like, okay, if you can have this experience and you can close this deal, there's more to come. And so that just kind of really was like, okay, that was like my turning point when I was like, I can do this. I can really do this.
Yeah. I love that so much for you. And every time I saw, because I didn't see any of your photos in person, but I did see, girl, they were on my Instagram. Listen, every time I was watching the story and it came across the ad, and that made me feel good. Like, it made me feel good seeing somebody that looked like me, that is young as me, full of life. I actually know her. Like, that just does more than, like I say, just a cute face and a cute outfit. It
Yeah.
shows other people that, hey, if you want to do this, of course the journey is going to be tough. Of course everything is not going to go the way you expected, but you can do it.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Thank
I
you.
love that for you.
And I just love the support that I got the entire, like, people from elementary school, high school, like my old university, teachers, cousins, like they were in the stores like this, taking pictures. Oh my gosh, and my parents were so proud. Oh my God. It felt good to know that people knew my story and knew that I got told no so many times in this industry. And just to see that they were just as excited about me winning as they would be themselves, that's what did it for me. It wasn't that I got the opportunity or I got to be, in the store or on a billboard or whatever. It was that people saw themselves in me.
Yeah.
And that's always my goal. If I can do it, if you see me do it, then that gives you permission to do it. Like, I'm not doing it just to flex. I'm doing it because I want you to know that you can too. And whatever your it is, you can do it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It just means if you see and to me, I always say this, when you see somebody else winning, that just means God is in the neighborhood.
Ooh, talk about it.
Like, it doesn't mean that it's not coming. It means he right around the corner. He coming to your hood too. You know what I mean? So he's coming. It just gives you permission to keep going.
Right. All of that. And I don't want y'all to discount two major things. One, her perseverance. So like a common thing that I've been hearing you talk is, I've been told no. I've been told no. But that doesn't mean you stop. You kept going. And then the second thing is your work ethic. Will you still create content when you get in 12 likes and when you get in 1,200 likes? Will you still show up when people leave you on red, or when people, like, they're seeing your content but they're not engaging with your content? And I feel like that is a testament to what actually God wants to see from us. Like, will we be faithful with the little things so he can bless us with the big things? Like, that's biblical. You gotta be faithful.
You better say that.
So Taylor, before we go into our soul food section, I know that there are plenty of people who are listening who may want to become influencers, content creators, models. If you have, I would say, just like maybe 3 steps for how somebody can get started and actually be consistent, what would you tell them to kind of give them a boost for their journey?
Okay, so first, I know this is so cliche, but be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself. When you show up as anybody else, it strips people of actually getting to know you and liking you to determine if they want to follow you.
Right.
And 2, it's hard to keep up a facade.
Talk about it.
It's so hard. So whether I get on live, whether I'm posting a picture, whether I'm posting a reel, I am me.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether you like it or not, I'm me, and I'm okay with me. Yeah. And I will never have to try to justify anything that I post because it's me.
Right.
And it's authentic to who I am. So the more you show up as yourself, to me, I feel like the more you allow people to love you. Mm-hmm. Because you're showing up as you. Like, and also I realize the more that I love myself is the more permission I give other people to love me too. Mm-hmm. Because when you're not showing up as yourself, people don't have the opportunity because you're giving them a representative. You're not giving them your full self. Yeah. So that's one. Be authentic. Be yourself. Don't really follow the trends. If it's not true to who you are, don't do it, because you never want to go back on something you posted or something you said because you were trying to follow a trend. Don't do that. 2, as far as consistency, batch your content.
Yes.
Batch your content.
What does that mean, to batch your content?
So to batch your content just means to take one day or days to shoot all of your content. So, for example, while I was working in corporate America, I was working from 8:30 a.m. until 5:00 p.m., which means, and when I was working from March until September, the sun was coming down at 5.
Right.
So on my way home, there was no sunlight. And even though I have these ring lights, it wasn't giving.
Yeah.
So on Saturdays, every single Saturday, I would batch shoot for the entire week, which means I was shooting about 20 to 30 reels in about 4 to 5 hours. And on Saturday mornings, I would go out and shoot actual outfit content. So my entire Saturday wasn't spent brunching. It wasn't spent going out on dates. It wasn't spent going to the clubs. My entire Saturday was spent creating content concepts, and editing content. I remember on Saturday nights, I would be in the bed editing all my content for the upcoming week.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, I'll be getting ready for work on Monday and just rinse and repeat. And to me, you make a priority for what's important to you. And it was very important for me when I made that decision. I told God, like, if I get this 100%, either you're going to show up or I'm going to quit. Because there's no in between.
Right.
So I knew that I had to give my 100% because I didn't want God to have no reason to come to me and say, well, you really didn't do what you were supposed to do. Like, right. You say you're going to give 100 and you gave 80. And I know what your 100% looks like. So batch your content. And that's what I would say. So if you have a 9-to-5, if you have a 9-to-5 and a side hustle, if you really want to do this, whether it's being a model, whether it's being a content creator, make time for it, prioritize it, get that content out, because what people don't realize is it's in the beginning, it's really not about quality. It's just about getting it out, because the more content you produce, the better you get. There are some reels on my page that I wish I could delete right at this very second. I wish nobody would ever see. But that's a part of my journey. That's a part of my story. And I would never negate my beginning just because I had better quality. Now I got a new lens or I got a better camera. Like, that's how I started. And I am proud of that because I showed up. I showed up with the 9-to-5. I showed up while I was depressed. I showed up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I would never try to hide that part of my journey simply because it wasn't cute or the reel was low quality or, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's your content. 3, I would say, what's the third one? Understand your why. Because a lot of people see YouTubers and content creators getting flown out and getting brand deals and having these perfect feeds and aesthetic timelines, when in reality, that is only about 5% of the job.
Chat. I almost dropped a tear because they don't know.
Let me let you in on the secret. Come in close, y'all. Come in close. This is not a pretty career. This is not for the faint of heart. Monday through Friday, I am looking busted and disgusted. Please know. Like, I am going emails, meeting with my manager. Like, it is not pretty. I am battling with my own negative thoughts. Like, because a post didn't perform well, or I got told no after being told yes for a brand deal. Like, a lot of the glitz and glam that you see is literally only 5% of it. So if you don't understand your why, you will burn out so easy and so quickly, and you will question yourself and your worth and your purpose because you're not doing it with a genuine why. Right. Like, my why is because I know that I'm supposed to be motivating other women to go after their dreams. Even if it's not modeling, even if it's not content creation, I know that my story is supposed to help other women. And that is my purpose. I am here to help and ignite a fire in you to where you believe so much from my story. You believe so much in yourself that you actually go out and do what you said you was going to do. That's my why.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if you don't have your why, you will look at my life and say, oh, I want to do what she do. But you don't realize that there's a burden that comes with this as well. Exactly. And just because I don't show you the burden of it doesn't mean it's not there.
Because we make it look so easy.
Right.
So easy.
Right. People don't realize that. So really understand your why. If your why is money, kudos to you. But that is not enough to last you. It's not enough to have a long-term career in this industry. Yeah. You will get burnt out. I don't care how good you are, how much of a Christian you are. you will get burnt out in this industry, but you will come back if your why is genuine. So those are my 3, I think.
Thank you so much for that. And it's just so much that I can pick from that, but I will just like to touch on this. That really stood out to me was the fact that you just have to show up. I feel like sometimes people are so concerned with how they show up that they don't show up at all. So you may not have a camera, you may not have a very expensive lens. Baby, we got $1,000 phones. Y'all better make it work.
If all you have is your phone, that's enough.
Yeah.
Listen, all you have right now is all you need. Yeah. Remember that. Like you don't need the cameras. You need you. And people forget that you are the special sauce. It's not your camera. It's not the lens. It's you.
Right.
You are the special sauce. So like, don't ever forget that, because if my camera broke right now, baby, okay. And we're going to be right here with it. And we're going to keep going up. Because a camera not going to stop me from doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you have to have that kind of mindset towards it. Yeah. So yeah, just keep going. I literally have the tattooed on me. Keep going. I can't quit. I can't stop.
Yeah. Quitting is not an option.
It's not.
This podcast episode was so good. It fed my soul. Like I knew it was going to. So now we're about to get in our soul food section. So Taylor, I just want you to tell me the first thing that comes to the top of your mind. This episode is sponsored by Kikoff. Kikoff is one of my favorite credit building apps because they don't have any interest. They do not check your credit score to approve you. And there are so many benefits that you get. And they report all of this stuff to 2 of the major credit bureaus, TransUnion and Experian. So if you know that you are looking to increase your credit score, you need a little boost, you need a little help, download the Kikoff app and create your account today. Another thing that I really love about this app is they have something called a credit building loan. So you pay $10 a month into this loan, and at the end of the year, you get your full $120 back. Y'all, that is literally unheard of in the credit building space. So take that into account, and if you are looking to increase your credit score, make sure you go download Kikoff. No interest, no fees, no none of that. $5 a month to build up your credit score. Click the link below and create your account today. Now let's get right back into the episode. Those of you who have been rocking with me for a little while, y'all know I'm from King Street, South Carolina. Love food. Hey. Love soul food. Soul food is my favorite. So my first question for you, Taylor, is what is your favorite soul food dish?
Mac and cheese.
Okay. I should have expected that. Mostly all of the people who I interview, they say macaroni and cheese.
And I shouldn't say that because I'm lactose intolerant, but we're not going to talk about it.
Not your stomach being shambles after.
Every time, baby, every time. But I was just telling somebody else this, like, I only really eat them on Thanksgiving. Like, I pig out on Thanksgiving, and then I'll, like, skip it every other holiday.
Wow. That's so
But that Thanksgiving mac and cheese.
It's different. So next question. I feel like right now we live in a time that's very microwavable. People want things fast, in a rush, in a hurry. I'm even guilty of it. So can you give me a story of when something had to cook in the when something had to cook in the crock pot for you? So slow cook in the crock pot.
I think it's my career right now. I think I'm definitely still in the slow cooker. So as I said before, like I grew from 4,000 to 10,000 in a month. That is very fast.
Yeah.
And currently I am at 31,000 and I think I started the year with 21,000.
Yeah.
So that's 10,000 in a span of 5 months, roughly.
Right.
And as someone who is also very guilty of wanting a microwave success, I have to constantly remind myself, do I want to build community or do I just want to build fame? Because there's a difference.
Yeah.
And I always go back to community. I can name right now at least 15 to 20 of my followers by name. Mm-hmm. Because I DM them, I send them voice threads, I talk to them, I know their mama name, I know their baby, I know they just had a baby. Right. And to me, that's important because again, my purpose is to inspire other women to go after their it.
Yeah.
And I can't do that if I don't have a community to do so.
Right.
So while I would love to have 100,000 followers by tomorrow, I know and realize that every good thing in this life comes with a weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remind myself of one of the very first stories in the Bible about Abraham and Sarah.
Yep.
If they could wait that long for a promise, what is a year to me?
And they waited, honey.
What is literally like dang near decades? Like, so what is a year to me?
Mm-hmm.
What is 2 years to me? What is 6 months to me? And then I just go back to this deep knowing. God gave me a very, very clear vision. Sometimes it's blurry, but I get the picture.
Right.
And so would I rather wait for everything that he's promised me and more, or would I rather just have the vanity and metrics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I'm in a season of literally daily renewing my mind of, sis, it's not overnight. Nothing is overnight. Every overnight success you've seen, it's been 10 years in the making. Yep. This is my very first year as a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing amazing.
Yeah.
But to me, I could be doing a lot better. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about perspective. And I have to constantly tell myself, baby, this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
You are only 23. Relax.
Right. Ooh, girl, that's me. I'd be like, Kiani, calm down.
And I literally, and if I didn't have the village that I have, like, I would not be as mentally well, honestly, because they constantly remind me of like all of my accomplishments. And it's not about my accomplishments. Like, I know I'm meant to impact people.
Right.
Like, one of my biggest goals in life was to start a scholarship. I did that last year. I met the first recipients this year. And now I'll be able to help people financially to go to college. Like, that's important. And you're 23.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm in that season now. Like, I don't want my success to be a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm.
I want to last like Oprah. So if that takes 15 to 20 years, it takes 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. But it's just a constant renewal of my mind and knowing that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and however long that takes, it takes that long.
Yeah. And it's going to be so worth the wait. So worth the wait.
It is. Everything in my life thus far has been worth the wait. God, whenever you want to see my husband too.
Yeah. That's a whole nother episode. That's all.
Yeah, you can do that too, but
these streets are a little dangerous, but I'm not even gonna put my mouth on that right now. I'm gonna just go to the next question. So the next one is the itis. You know, after you eat a really good meal, you just want to lay on the chair, you're tired. Tell me something that you are sick and tired of seeing in regards to either money or business.
I am sick of people. I'm sick of seeing people share their numbers, but not share the real behind the numbers. So I'll give you an example. So say I make $10,000 off of a brand deal.
Right.
20% goes to management. 20 to 30% goes to the government. So we'll just say 20 and 20. That's 40. So I have 60 left for me.
Right.
20% gets reinvested back into the business for clothing, for camera, for production costs, if I have to rent an Airbnb to shoot a campaign, whatever the case is.
Right.
I might only see 1,500 to 2,000 of that, but I'm posting that I made 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month. No, I didn't.
Exactly.
No, I didn't. You did not. And you're not being honest.
Right.
If you are running a business, you never see 100% of your money. Ever.
Ever.
Show
me them expenses, please. Please show.
So while I do love seeing people win, and I'm all for you posting your numbers, I want you to post all the numbers, because that was your gross total. but you're not showing all the expenses behind that. So you did not take home 10,000. You took home 2, and 2 is just as good as the 10.
Yeah.
Because you're paying people to help you to expand your business, to expand your brand, or whatever the case is, and you're paying them their worth. But at the end of the day, baby, you ain't make no $10,000.
Right. It's very inspirational, but it's not real.
But then, and because when I remember when I first opened my skincare company, I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I made $2,000 in 2 days. Like, this is lit. Like, my first 2 days in business, like, okay, period. Like, I probably have a $10,000 a month. Oh, you have to reorder. You have to. Oh, so I have to stock up again, and that's 5,000.
Exactly.
I have to. Oh, it. Okay, so now I had to spend $1,000 because I wanted everything to be personalized. Now that my orders are going up, my expenses are going up. So the income that I thought I had coming in, and I only really took home $500 because I had to reinvest everything back into my business. So I'm sick of seeing that. And I'm not sick of people sharing their numbers. I'm sick of people not telling the whole story.
Exactly.
Share your gross, but also share the expenses. Share the invoices that people are sending you so you can maintain the lifestyle that you're living or maintain the business that you're running. Exactly. Because nobody is taking home 10,000. Because when I was looking at people when I was starting my business, I was like, oh, period. Like, they making 20,000 a month. Like, oh, I'm about to be lit. I'm about to be going on vacations. When you have a business, that business money ain't your money, baby.
2 totally separate entities. 2 totally separate entities.
So you, the individual, could be broke while your business is booming. Like, people really don't realize that.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, like, that's still your money. Because we're not even getting into that, but if you're like sole proprietor, you're LLC, a single person LLC, like, at the end of the day, all that money goes back into just one tax form. But it's still not all yours. And I just wish more people would be realistic, because as an outsider looking in, before I started my own business, before I started content creation and all that, I wish I knew that there was a lot more money to be spent when it's made.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sick of seeing that.
Like, I can't remember the exact podcast episode I did, but the name of the podcast episode, if y'all want to go back and watch it, is Business is Hard AF. And I was just being really transparent and really honest and open with y'all about a lot of my numbers and about a lot of the stuff that I had going on. Because me and you, we were just talking about this. On the outside looking in, it can seem like we have it all together. And we don't.
Baby, I know. If you looking at and this is one thing I always tell people, especially my stories. If you're looking at my Instagram page, if you're looking at my stories or whatever, please do not compare yourself to me, baby. Please don't. Please don't. This is not what you want to do, because I don't have to figure it out. But baby, we in the same boat. We really are. Like,
the same boat.
We in the same boat. So please don't do that to yourself. I am not one for you to compare. Like, this is not. We're not even in the same. Don't even do that.
Right.
Don't break
our next question. So we did slow cook crock pot. We did the itis. Your go-to. So, all of us, we have that go-to soul food meal. No matter what, it never disappoints. What is your go-to? What keeps you motivated and inspired to being the businesswoman and the creative that you are today?
What is my go-to for being a creative? Honestly, and this may sound like a little bit weird, is to get off of social media. Like, reset, and with my friends and family. So I have an amazing village, and I will always say this. I will scream their praises to the mountaintops until the day I die.
Yeah.
Because they keep me grounded, and they keep me in a mindset of knowing that my purpose is big and it's grand, and it is always going to be a heavy load to carry, but they constantly remind me I don't have to carry it alone.
Yeah.
And so I need that space to be able to reset, get offline, just be Taylor, just be Tay, just be Ladybug, and not have the pressure to perform or to show up as my best. Like, I need that time to reset and just be poured into.
Right.
Because I pour so much online. Like I really be giving my all. I really do. And sometimes that leaves me empty. So just to reset, I love reading. I try to read a book a month. Sometimes it's 2 a month. So reading, like getting out in nature, and just resetting, like with my girls, with my best friends, with my mom and my dad, like just really going back to that ground foundation of family and my village, and just knowing that if everything else goes away, like I still have a lot to be grateful for, and I have this village that has my back regardless. So I think that's my go-to, is just any quality time I get to spend with family and friends, and unplugging. And honestly, that's when I create my best. So like today, I was creating content. I didn't get on Instagram until after I finished creating all my content, because a lot of times we can go into the spiral of consuming so much that we don't even have any creative juice to produce.
Right. So
getting outside of social media helps me to be able to produce more, and it brings me back to me. What is Taylor without the influence of social media? What does her content look like without the influence of social media? And a lot of my content, I was saying this on one of my lives, is inspired by music. I play music all day, every day. I dance in my house all day, every day, because moving my body makes me feel good. I don't have to be good at it. It don't have to look good to you, but it makes me feel good, and it brings me so much joy. And then I do that with my friends and my family. We'll have dance parties. Like me and my mom, we will have 30-second dance parties on a bad day, on a good day, because moving your body gets it out. It gets all that emotion out. It gets whatever you're feeling out. So yeah, that really, all that really, really helps me in therapy.
I love that. So last but not least is that's good. So once you take a bite into some real good soul food, if it's good, you're probably gonna say that that's good. So can you close out our episode with some words of wisdom for a current or an aspiring entrepreneur?
This journey is yours and yours alone. However you decide to go about it is right, because it's right for you.
I love that.
Never allow anything or anyone to deter you from what God has put in you and given you. God gives everybody a gift or gifts. Don't allow yours to go dormant from fear of failure or even fear of success.
Yeah.
You deserve love, joy, peace, and every other fruit of the Spirit. So whatever it takes to get there, do that. Take care of you, and be you.
Yeah. Love that so much. We honestly couldn't have closed it out no better way than that. Like, I'm not even gonna put my mouth on that. I'm not gonna talk about it. Like, that was good. Y'all rewind it so you can hear that again. There's no wrong way. There's no wrong way. I love that. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode on the Responsible Homegirl Podcast. Of course, y'all know I love to keep the conversation going. So comment below, how did you enjoy this podcast episode? Questions that you have, y'all know I'm DM friendly, whatever. Let's just talk about it. Last but not least, y'all know I always tell y'all, with exposure, execution, and consistency, there is absolutely nothing you can't do. So see y'all soon, and thank you so much for rocking with me. Bye. If you love the Responsible Homegirl Podcast, there are plenty of ways to show your support. I have them also listed in the description box. 1, leave us a rating or review. 2, email me a review of the podcast so that I can share on social media. 3, I have listed our PayPal where you can send whatever you feel led to send. Or 4, by joining our Patreon, our exclusive community where we host book clubs and we talk about all things personal finance and entrepreneurship. Whatever you decide to do, just know that I am so grateful and I appreciate you for sharing the Responsible Homegirl with all of your homegirls and all of your homeboys. Thank y'all so much.